Hello, friends. It's Miss Sascha and Daisy here from Hageman Library, but today we're in our house and we're going to read you a story. I'd like to make a special shout out to our friends at Old Stone Church Early Learning Center. We miss them a lot, don't we? Yeah, we do. We used to enjoy going almost every month, and we'd bring the newest books and some of our old favorites. Today we're going to get right into one of our old favorite books. It's a folk tale. I love folk tales. Oh, looks like Daisy's bow's falling off, but yeah, she likes to look pretty when she comes to see you. But I love folk tales. They're old stories from around the world. This one is a Yiddish tale from Eastern Europe, and it's called A Big Quiet House. I'm going to have Daisy just sit down for a moment so we'll be able to see the pictures while she also listens. She's another great listener, like all of the children that I see at the Old Stone Church. So Daisy, sit down, be comfortable. You okay? Yeah. Okay, good. There we are, ready to listen. A Big Quiet House, retold by Heather Forrest and illustrated by Susan Greenstein. Oh, I think I'll put on my glasses to make sure I get every word right. There we have a man who's walking on, it looks like his little farm. Oh, look, I'd forgotten that Heather Forrest, who was one of my teachers a while back, signed the book for me. So right here, it says, "To Sascha, best wishes. Heather Forrest, 2006. Oh, that was a long time ago. Well, it's a special book, isn't it? Signed by the author. I'm going to stand up so you can see the pictures better, okay? How's that? Okay, we're ready. There once was a man whose house was very small. It was cluttered with things from wall to wall. Every day he would say in a miserable way, "I need more room. I need more room." One night, he tossed and he turned in his bed. His wife snoring and his children's giggling annoyed him. He covered his ears and he grumbled, "There's too much noise, too much noise. If I had a big quiet house, I'd be able to sleep." So as he lay awake, he thought about the wise old woman who lived on the edge of the village. "Perhaps she can solve my problem," he muttered. And he threw off the covers, he jumped out of bed, and he went to seek the wise old woman. Here he goes down to the edge of the village, not too far away. He knocked impatiently at her door. "It's the middle of the night," she said. "Why are you here?" "I can't sleep," complained the man. "My wife snores the whole night through. My children annoy me by giggling too. What is a tired man to do? Can you possibly solve my problem? I need a big, quiet house." The old woman, she scratched her head and she considered for a moment what she could do to help. And she said, "Solve your problem? Yes, I can. But first, I must think of a plan." Her face then spread with a smile. "Go home and bring a big red chicken into the house with you," she suggested. "A chicken?" asked the man, bewildered. "Into my house?" Well, she was the wisest woman in the town. So he went home and he did exactly as she told him. She was, like we said, the wisest woman he knew. And he caught his big red squawking chicken and he brought her into the kitchen and he let her go. And the chicken strutted under the table. Right away, she found her spot under the table. Now, how is the chicken going to make my house bigger? He wondered. He went to his room, he climbed into his bed, he pulled the covers up to his chin, and he tried to fall asleep. Uh-oh, that is a big chicken. Well, meanwhile, the big red chicken crept from under the table and wandered into the children's room, and she began noisily pecking. Peck, 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 peck. Walk, 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 walk. At the son and the daughter, and the wife tumbled with a thump onto the floor, and she chased the chicken. Feathers were flying, the children were crying, the wife was sighing, and the man couldn't sleep. He threw off his covers, he jumped out of bed, and he went back to the wise old woman's house. Oh my goodness me, what should I do? He knocked impatiently on the woman's door, and she opened it and said, "It's the middle of the night. Go to sleep." "That's impossible," he moaned. I brought a big red noisy chicken into the house with me. Feathers are flying, my children are crying, my wife is sighing, and I can't sleep. Can you solve my problem? I need a big, quiet house." The old woman said, "Solve your problem? Yes, I can. I just didn't tell you the whole plan." And she considered a moment and suggested, "Now go home and bring a goat, a horse, a cow, and a sheep into the house with you." "A goat, a horse, a cow, and a sheep?" the man exclaimed. But he went home and he did exactly as she told him to do. After all, she was the wisest old woman he knew. And he herded a goat, a horse, a cow, and a sheep into his house. They were probably wondering what is going on in the middle of the night. Well, here they all are in his little house. I hope they're cozy. Well, then he climbed clumsily over the animals. It was hard to just get to his room to sleep, but he finally got over them all and he got into his bed. He pulled the covers up to his chin and he tried to fall asleep. The sheep began to loudly sing, "Ba, ba." The goat chimed in with a lively "ma, ma, ma." The cow joined in with a melodious "moo." And the horse snorted and grandly sang too, "Neigh, neigh, neigh." The singing and snorting woke the big red chicken, who wandered into the children's room and began to noisily peck, peck, peck at the son and daughter. Bok, 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 bok. And the wife tumbled with a thump onto the floor, and she chased the chicken, and the feathers were flying, and the children were crying, and the wife was sighing, and the man couldn't sleep. Oh, my. Things are not getting better, are they? So, where do you think he's gonna go? Back to the old woman's house? I think so. Yep, he threw off his covers, he jumped out of bed, he climbed over the animals, and he went to the wise old woman's house. He knocked loudly on her door this time. She was fast asleep, probably. And she opened it and she yawned. "Oh," she said, "it's the middle of the night. You should be asleep." "That's impossible," the man shouted. "How can I sleep with a chicken, a goat, a horse, a cow, and a sheep? Animals are everywhere from wall to door. It is even noisier than before. Feathers are flying, my children are crying, my wife is sighing, and I can't sleep." You said you could solve my problem. I need a big, quiet house, he said. Well, the old woman replied, solve your problem? Yes, I can. I just didn't tell you the whole plan. Now put all the animals back where they belong. Good idea, exclaimed the man. To his amazement, so he took all the animals back to the barn. I think I skipped a page here. Yes, I did. He went home, he gathered the animals, and he herded them all into the barn. Then he returned to his house and opened the door. To his amazement, his house was not small anymore. He stared with wonder at the rooms. Now that all the animals were gone, his house seemed so empty. It looked remarkably bigger. It's like magic, huh? He climbed into his bed and he pulled the covers up to his chin, and without the sighing, the singing and the snorting of the animals in the next room, his house was so quiet. Oh, and he could hear the gentle snoring of his dear, dear wife beside him, and he heard his children giggling too. But these ordinary sounds were no longer noise. They were music to his ears. And he smiled and thought, what a big, quiet house. Next time I moan the whole day long, complaining about what's going wrong, I'll stop and count my blessings first. Because it could always be worse. And with a sigh, he fell fast asleep. The end. Oh, I like that story. I hope you did too. We will be back, on Tuesday for Mother Goose on the Loose, Songs and Rhymes. And then next Thursday, it looks like Daisy took a little nap during that story too, right? It was nice, quiet in here, yeah. And then next Thursday, we'll have another story for you to hear, okay? Bye. See you then. Say bye, Daisy.